try hard, the trifecta. Today we gonna go far. Spirit gonna get ya.
Welcome, everyone, to the Latter-day Tryhards, where we faith around and find out. We're excited to chat with y'all today. I'm joined here, of course, by my usual home dogs, Lenny and Roman here. How y'all doing?
So good. So good.
There you go. There it is. So, we, today, as you can see, Lenny is the coolest one of all of us because he has sunglasses on. Where he's at in the world, the sun is... Anyway, so do you want to tell them about that, or should we move on? Do we want to talk about your condition?
Yeah, I'll give you a 30-second little tidbit about it. I just wanted to impersonate Ray Charles today, y'all. And if you don't know who Ray Charles is, shame on you. Okay?
Yeah.
Go look. Anyway, I was traveling for work and traveling down to Disneyland with the choirs that I teach on choir tour. And on the way home, I picked up a bacterial infection in my eye. Not pink eye, okay? I want to hear none of y'all in the comments.
Gingivitis.
He can't get gingivitis. I'm not going to say why, but he can't get it. Yeah. So, anyway. So, if you're thinking about going to Disneyland, don't, right? Because that's where you'll get poop in your eye.
Yeah, you'll get conjunctivitis, I believe it's what it's called. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I don't really want anybody to tell me what that is. I'm getting it treated by eye drops.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sensitive to light right now, so that my eyes are pretty sensitive. So that's why I have glasses on, and that's all. And I guess that's it.
And he showed up anyway, guys. So all right, that's good.
Nice, sensitive Lenny.
Yeah, that's right. So, speaking of sunglasses, smiling faces, and grateful hearts, I want to put these sunglasses on Elder Godoy. Like, how sick would that be, dude? This is what we talked about last week.
Put some on there?
I could, yeah. I can't right now,
ChatGPT,
but I could. That would be hilarious, actually, if all of our thumbnails were just the apostles with sunglasses on. So last week,
silver lining,
That's it. We talked about being grateful, and that was our challenge for the week. Anytime that we feel like complaining about something, our challenge was to find the silver lining and be grateful instead. So, Roman, how did it go, my brother?
Yes, I thought it went really well. I, as most of the challenges are challenging, I'm just, the biggest thing I remember was like the day after in the morning, like immediately started complaining about some individuals that I know. And
who was it?
To my wife, Ray Charles.
Weird flex.
And
yeah, that is a weird flex, dude.
And then and I was just like, and I just saw myself like, I was already gone on for like 5-10 minutes, I think. Just I was just so frustrated. But then like, oh man, Elise, oh man, I messed up. Like I didn't catch myself soon enough.
You done screwed up, AA Ron.
Yeah. Then I was able to take the time to like calm down and have some nice things to say about these individuals, and as everybody has redeeming qualities, probably. And and like that experience kind of snapped me into the challenge. It was like every time I had like a complaining thing, I was a lot quicker to take it back a notch and like see the silver lining. Kind of just one of the biggest things I kind of thought by the end of all this, it's just one, gratitude, because like no one wants to be like all grumpy all the time with these like negative emotions, and better to see the positive things. And as like I think as disciples of Jesus Christ, we want to illuminate light, and that's also seeing the light. And so when we have the sun, the clouds moving in front of it, and we have the light coming around, like that's what we
Mm,
should be attracted to naturally, like to the light, and
that's
that
a
we
good
can
analogy.
see the light, be the light. And so I think that part of becoming a disciple of Jesus Christ is indeed seeing the silver lining, or maybe being the silver lining in a situation
Ooh.
or for somebody else. So that's those are my thoughts.
Nice.
I like it, Rowan. That's a super awesome analogy you came up with. I actually really resonate with that. Huh? Illuminate? Oh, anyways.
Hey,
Um,
Illuminati.
yeah,
reflect it.
Illuminati. Yeah. No, but I think that what you're saying is that even when the clouds cover the sun, you can still see the rays. That's actually pretty powerful because like the rays are the light of Christ. It is Jesus. He's always there, like even in the very cloud, in the very darkness. So that's
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. I like that analogy.
And you can
Yeah,
still
I'm
get
gonna
sunburned.
say
You can
let it
still-
shine.
Like you could still let the
Oh.
light of Christ give you a sunburn, you know. And even if there's clouds, the UV rays
Yeah.
still cut through the clouds a little bit.
That's exactly right. I also like that little throwback you did, Roman. That was
That
nice.
was nice.
That
Yeah,
was
see,
nice.
look
If
at
you don't
watch our
know what that
previous
means,
episode.
guys. Exactly.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, I can jump in here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let me sing. Let it. Okay. As I mentioned before, I was traveling for work, so I did not, wasn't able to do the. Yeah, I was just traveling for work, so I'm excited to do the next challenge. Very excited about it when we talk about it. But I did want to tell, even though I wasn't completely aware of the challenge that was happening, I was having an experience that kind of that I think I can share a little bit of my experience about it with seeing the silver linings. Here's a 20-second backstory.
Dude.
In Disneyland, I am a choir teacher, and so I'm responsible for all these kids who are on choir tour. And so when they're in Disneyland, I am the responsible adult, even though they have chaperones. I had a bunch of students who, not a bunch, but a couple, that had things happen to them while they were at the park. And I'm the responsible adult, so I went and making sure I was checking on them. And it caused me a lot of stress the first day. But the second day, I think because, and I was talking to my wife because she was on the trip with me. The second day, I felt a whole bunch better about the experience, even though I had more incidences. You know, it was, when I say a lot, it was like 2 that day. But I actually approached them with a lot more levity, like lightheartedness. Is that the right word?
Yeah. Like your
Um,
capacity
Lightheartedness,
was
where
increased.
yeah, exactly. And so wasn't so stressed about it doing anything. I was just wanted to be present for these students, and then as soon as they were okay, to like let it go and then be able to go enjoy the rest of the trip with my wife. And it's really
Yeah.
interesting to see the difference between day 1, when I was like really stressed about stuff, and day 2. And you can actually see it in the amount of rides that I rode at Disneyland. I rode 2 rides the first day, and I rode 7 rides the second day. And so I think that exactly what you were, this is not exactly, and I need to, thinking about this challenge in the future, which I think I might just do it, is being more focused on Christ during those moments. But I did see the difference between being
Pessimistic.
heavy-minded about it. Yes, pessimistic versus being lighthearted about the situation.
Yeah.
And being able, and I think you can see Christ in that if I
Yeah.
tried hard, and actually it's not that hard actually. I can see Christ in both of those situations, supporting me in the heaviness, but then giving me the peace the second day. So, and I think that's the key. I think that's what happens sometimes when we see the lighthearted, when we see the silver lining, like it is, it's like immediate peace. Even if it doesn't take things away, it does give us peace.
Yeah. I think that's a big part of the challenge is like that you learn to not dwell on the things you can't necessarily change. Like you can't say,
Yeah.
I don't want to fall down because gravity's there. It's like, I'm just going to complain. I can't change gravity, but I can
Right.
change how I behave and how I react to falling down
Yeah.
and getting back up. I can react to
Mhm.
being more careful when I walk or not fall off cliffs or something, like, so like what is it's like that saying, it's like we learn to how to react to the situation and not let the situation uh like act upon us when we
Yeah.
can't control it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
Along these lines, I think Afroman joined us in this challenge recently. Okay, I don't know if you guys are paying attention to the news with Afroman. Do you guys know what happened? Do you guys even know
I
who that
don't.
is?
No.
So
No,
I'm gonna
I
give
have
a
no
short
idea.
synopsis. A lot of people listening, you might be aware of this, but it's like he just won a lawsuit. So a few years back, police broke into his home. He wasn't there, but they thought he was part of some shady business. So they broke into his home and they raided his house and they busted his door down and his gate and he scared his kids, and his wife was there, and he like watched it happen on his security cameras, and they
Oh,
come to find out
jeez.
he wasn't part of anything shady. Well, he probably was doing some drugs that I don't know, but not what they were breaking into his house for. So they left, and then he came home and he's like, "Hey,
Yeah.
what the heck? You guys broke into my house. It cost $20,000 worth of damage. You need to pay for it." And the police, they're like, "No, we're not doing it." So he says this in his interviews, but he's like, I just had to look at it like, I was just given an opportunity now. People haven't really been important in music in a long time, and so I just made a whole album about them breaking into my house and just made fun of him. He's got all these music videos making fun of the cops. He's showing his security camera footage and everything, making fun of them. And he said, I don't remember what the quote was. And by the way, don't go look up the music videos. Most of them, they're not necessarily appropriate, but the sentiment is pretty funny that he's
Dang it.
that he's like, he says, when life gives you lemon, make lemon pound cake or something, because he had a lemon pound cake in his house that a cop kept eyeing, and he made a song about it, making fun of the cop.
Wait, the cop ate it?
He didn't eat it, but it looked like he wanted to eat it. So he made a song about it. But that's his thing, is he's like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to make a whole album. And then the album got a bunch of listens because this is a bizarre situation. And then they tried to sue him for it. And then he countered and he won the lawsuit. Now he's got a bunch of songs out there that are kind of relevant because,
Yeah.
kind of funny. So
he's got music. He's got music out there, and he won the lawsuit. So
yeah, he's made a bunch of money.
he's got
off his
money
music.
and music.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
Good
he
for him.
made the
That's
best
every
of it.
artist's dream.
Yeah, not a good situation, but he's like, I'm going to make it work for me. So he did. But
I feel like this is what happened to you last week. Is that right, Cody?
yeah, that's a good tie-in.
Same thing.
So for me, actually, I don't really have a ton to say. This exercise was good. I did it intermittently throughout the week, and especially today, work was rough. It's one of those days where there was a few days last week too that I was like,
Tuesdays.
what is going on, dude? Like, what the heck?
Mhm.
And
This is one of
people
those days where you realize you weren't good at your job.
yeah, I was like, I suck, dude. No,
I'm just playing, dude.
No, the people I work with are great and everything. It's just sometimes stuff lights on fire and then it just piles up, and it's like, I'm not gonna get anything done.
Yep.
And so I was finding that I'm like, okay, what's the silver lining here? Okay, this thing cropped up. It's taken a bunch of my time. Silver lining is we pinned down what the problem is. We have a solution. We have a way forward that maybe we didn't have before. So I was doing that, and I was like, I was helping a bit. And then today was like that, and I'm like, I need to go. I need to take a break. So I had to leave the office and go find some time by myself to just be like, what is the silver lining here? And my brain was like, there ain't none, okay? Friggin' sucks. There's no silver lining. And I had to work through it, and then I kept thinking through. I'm like, okay, I could keep expanding this. Maybe you just got to cast the net a little wider. And eventually I got out to like, okay, like overall, these problems will subside, and I have a good job and good people that support me, and these problems are super annoying, and I can't progress in some things, projects I need to get done because of them. But ultimately, silver lining is these are really day-to-day issues, and they're gonna go away, you know. And I shouldn't get too caught up in them. So that was a good exercise.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think sometimes the silver lining is that you don't have a bullet in your head. You know what I'm saying? Like that can be it. You know? I'm alive and I'm kicking. I'm alive and I'm kicking.
Whoa.
Oh, we
man,
can't hear you,
that's
Cody.
funny.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just saying I was with Lenny there. That escalated. It could always be worse. That's what you're saying. It could always be worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how they say it. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. But no,
I
it's
like
good.
that, Cody, because sometimes, yeah, that's
You feel
just
that.
how it is.
Yeah. So
It'd be worse.
I think one of the things with this exercise that I, and this is just a side note before we jump into the talk here, and we got to move fast. We're gonna move fast. We got 8 minutes. We got 7 minutes or so. We got to do this in. So, this is one of those challenges that is a little abstract, right? It's not something you complete and you check off a list by the end of the week. It's something that's like you try it regularly. This is like a become kind of a challenge, and those are some of the best ones. But for me, sometimes I'm like, I want to check something off the list. So while we talk about this next talk, my brain's going to be in check something off mode. And that might not work out, and that's okay. And maybe it'll be something that's more about who you become and, figure out gratitude or whatever. But I was just thinking about that. I'm like, It's good to have both kinds of challenges for different thinkers and stuff. But sometimes I'm like, oh, intermittently I did the thing. But what did I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. Does this make sense?
That's like yeah, it's the whole muscle analogy. It sounds like where it's like, you don't see results right away, but if you keep doing it and if you keep working at it, you get better at it, and it becomes more worthwhile.
But it's more abstract. It happens in your brain. You know what I mean? It's like happening up here. It's not something you physically accomplish that you can tuck away.
Are you saying that you kind of? You're saying you kind of want like with your brain? What you're saying is when you're looking at this next challenge, when we're looking at Elder Holland's talk, you're looking for something a little bit more concrete rather than abstract.
Yeah.
But this one was find the silver linings and be grateful for them. And I believe it's what were we supposed to do after you found the silver linings?
I don't get it.
Does it?
Okay, so
change your mind.
Yeah, acknowledge it. Okay, so that's like abstract, and so you're looking for something more concrete, like
we don't have to do something concrete. But yeah, that's
right. No, I know, but I know what you're saying though. It's just like having a No, I get it. I was just more talking to understand your thought process.
You have to have a brain. It's like one of those things that
I'm just a scarecrow full of hay.
Yeah, it was like,
if
I only had a brain.
I might be dumb, but I'm happy.
I might be dumb, but I ain't stupid. All right. Well,
okay, that's pretty good.
Just right. Before we jump into this, I wanted to say, plain and simple, to like and subscribe and follow us on all of our channels or wherever you're listening to our podcast, so you can get more of this when we have new episodes dropping every week.
I'd be super grateful if you hit the subscribe button. I'm gonna sneeze so hard.
Latter-day tryhards.
I muted them.
It's gonna get you.
Yeah.
Sneeze all over that
it's okay,
like button.
Sneeze all over that like button. All right, Roman, go for it. I might need to mute again because I'm going to.
I expect a more creative way to say like and subscribe at the end of this episode, Cody. Okay. All right. So, and now I see. You know, I think it's fitting because Lenny don't see. You know what I'm saying? So,
Hey.
Yeah, that's true.
but he will soon after this discussion. So, Elder Holland, you know, might he rest in peace, and wonderful, wonderful person. I think every one of us and most of our listeners who have heard him before have really, at least one of his talks has resonated with you, and you just can't forget it.
So good.
So
Everything's so good that he does.
as like, yeah, and this one is no exception. And I feel really happy that we can look at his last talk in general conference he ever gave, and it's a beautiful one. So really, when we look at this talk, like I kind of see how, like, his progression is kind of like he talks about like there's a lot of miracles, and sometimes they're simple, sometimes they're bizarre, but who are we to say how God can perform his miracles? And he also starts talking about like what do these things mean for us? Like, how has it affected him? Can it affect you? And he gives some additional like proof of these truths that were
Proof of the truth?
like of these proof of the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So
Awesome.
I like the first one he talks about. I think it's great because I hadn't really thought about it in this way, but he talks about the man who was blind, and he takes the spit in the dirt and he puts it in his eyes. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's weird. But then he kind of talks about like that being like the medium for the miracle,
Right.
and how it's like if he chooses to have spit and clay be the medium for the miracle, why the heck can't he have like a the restoration of the gospel through like a 14-year-old boy, or the Book of Mormon come to light, and the story that has behind it.
Right.
He gives the example of Naaman. He even I haven't
'cause of
thought
the
about like this
simple.
either, but he even talks about the simplicity. Yeah, the simplicity. Sorry.
Yeah, people see him spit in the
And
dirt
then
and they're like, nah, I'd rather be blind than get your spit in my eye. It's like, no,
it's,
give it a shot, It's a simple thing
Yeah,
that
exactly.
he's doing. A lot of the things in the gospel are so simple that I mean, maybe that's me complaining earlier when I'm like, oh, I have to use my brain for this challenge about gratitude. It's like really simple thing to try to find the silver lining, but it can have a huge impact.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to call one more one more of his like simplicity things, and then I'll turn it over, and then I might bounce back for a second just to talk about some of the proof that he gave to like the
Proof in the proof.
truthfulness of
Proof
this
of the proof.
gospel. The truth of the proof.
Wait, proof of the truth?
So he talks about priesthood. So if you want to look up gifts are not granted. So I didn't think about this either, because sometimes we think about things like
Oh.
covenants. Wow, that's so deep and complex. Or priesthood, that is like a deep and complex thing as well. But in reality, it says here, gifts are not granted on the basis of impressive credentials, nor determined by tradition or birthright. They are not bestowed by a divinity school or a theological seminary. They are conferred only by the laying on of hands by one who has had authorized hands laid.
That's right.
And so I just think that's really cool, because I sometimes, forget that it's not the, educated man. It's not the person who is like, has all these degrees and doctorates, has done something really complex to have the priesthood or authority bestowed on him. It is through simply through your faith and through your and going about it the right method, that you're able to get the priesthood. So again, I thought it was really interesting and fun. Not fun, but interesting and really deep, simple way.
Fun as in
of,
interesting,
talking about
yeah.
the priesthood.
Well, and I'll say this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He is talking about the power and authority of the priesthood, which, just to clarify, I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast, but that's for everybody. If you've ever had a calling or you've ever had a responsibility within the church, you have power and authority, man or woman. You got it. Adult or teenager, you got it. All right?
Mm.
Yeah. So another thing, and feel free to chime in, guys.
Are you ready for me to
addition-
chime in?
Oh, if you want to, yeah. I don't know if you want to talk about the proof of the truth.
True for the proof.
I don't know, or what you got. I see it says God's truth right where you got highlighted.
Yeah, I mean, I highlighted what you had highlighted earlier too, right there. But down here,
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, we're in sync. That's one of the truth of the proofs.
this
Read
one.
it, read that. That's the one.
Okay,
That's
I'm going
the
to read
one.
it. To my knowledge, here's another thing he says in here. This particular evidence of God's truth, which he's talking about, what is he talking about? Baptism for the dead, I think, right? Yeah, he's talking about temple work.
Just temple work.
So his universal love for the living and the dead is not seen elsewhere in the world except in one church that demonstrates truth of the proof in this particular regard, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So again, this is true too. Like, where else does anybody teach about the salvation of the dead? That's a unique doctrine, and it's a beautiful doctrine, and it's a simple doctrine, and it is so natural to accept it, honestly. Like, think about it. Everyone on the planet, if you ask anyone, I don't know about anyone, but most anyone, does God condemn people to hell who never had a chance to hear the gospel? And I think anybody who believes in a God, at least in a loving God, would say, there's no way.
Yeah.
It's just obvious. There's no way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's funny because on Sunday we had someone like a friend with the missionaries coming to the church, and she was saying like, oh, it's a lot, it's a lot. I'm learning, I'm excited, but I'm learning, and there's a lot to take in. And I was like, you know what? Like, so some of the things you'll hear, and it might be new to you, but I can almost guarantee you're gonna feel right about it because like it is a truth that seems almost like no familiar. Like if somebody didn't have the chance to hear this gospel, are they condemned? Like, yeah, no. Like people just have this like it really resonates with anyone. And so I feel like that's a lot of the gospel is that way too.
Yeah. Same with eternal families. I mean, Lenny, you remember on our mission, we'd go talk to people, Catholics and Protestants and Lutherans, and we'd be like, hey, we believe that families can be together forever. And they're like, heck yeah, dude, me too.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Me too. But your doctrine doesn't necessarily teach that.
Yeah, like I don't think that's. I mean, you do because they can kind of deviate in their schools of thought within their denomination, but the teachings of their churches are not that way. That's a unique doctrine in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints too. But it makes sense. So anyway.
Love
Yeah.
it. Love it. And I love. Oh, sorry, Lenny, please.
No. Go ahead. Finish your thought, because my thoughts are completely there. Well, I mean, they're maybe just a little bit more simple, but go ahead. Keep going.
So the last like truth of the proof that I think that he really drives home is the Book of Mormon, and it's just what he says and what I'll say and what the Book of Mormon says in and of itself, to challenge everyone here that has not read it to go read it, and you will learn and know for yourself that it's true. Just like he did, just like we have. So I mean, that is what the keystone of our religion, right? Like, because it's the proof. It's the proof this is true, and it is huge
proof of
and
the
mighty
truth.
testament. Yes.
Yeah. Proof of the truth.
I don't want to. He has a whole thing about it, but I think that's unless you want to say anything more.
You're cruising, dude.
Yeah.
No, you're good. Yeah,
Just
Lenny,
love
any
it.
thoughts from you, and then we'll jump into the.
Yeah, for sure. One is actually two thoughts. One is that it's kind of an interesting experience when apostles are about to pass away, because I feel like they know it's coming, and they have this burning testimony in them that they feel like they need to get out, just to make sure that they've done everything they can to have testified of. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I feel like it's every apostle who's about to say bears a very powerful testimony of the divinity of the Book of Mormon about himself. I remember specifically about Elder Perry, his last, when he before he passed away, his last conference address. Elder Ballard, his last testimony, or his last conference address, and Elder Holland is no different, where he actually stands up again and says that, as a witness, he didn't actually say it exactly like this, but he said, as a witness, I testify that this is the true word of God. And it's just like so fervent in his words. You can read that, and it just feels so fervent. It's in that last little testimony, in that last little paragraph that we were talking through. So, and I actually, the thoughts that I had were about simplicity, about how, three thoughts in one. The gospel is simple. Doesn't mean that it's easy, but it is simple.
Mm-hmm.
And we also can't dictate how the Lord decides to fulfill his purposes, just like we've been talking about his miracles. And and it all comes down to the Book of Mormon, where I think, Roman, you said this earlier, where it was, if the Savior can heal the sight with spit in the dirt, then why can't he restore the whole gospel through the prophet Joseph Smith, a 14-year-old boy, and bring forth the Book of Mormon? Why do we have to put, I think that's the Elder Holland's testimony, is we don't have the right to put him in a box. And I think that so many of us do, actually.
Like that. Yep.
I mean, even members.
Oh yeah.
Even people who are in the church, we like to put God in a box. We like to tell him how he's supposed to perform miracles in our life. And I think that's what Elder Holland is saying. The Lord Father will perform miracles in our lives the ways that we need them, and he will perform them in his ways. And it's our job to find the miracle. And right now, the miracle, in Elder Holland is saying, is about the truthfulness of the Book of Mormon. That's the miracle. The Book of Mormon is the miracle, about how knowing all of this is true.
It's funny.
That's my thought.
It's funny here because I feel like my rant earlier about something more concrete is fully justified right now, okay? Because he just talked about like spitting in the dirt, and that was the medium for which the miracle came. It was a simple thing, but it was a concrete medium that the miracle came from. Okay, I don't know what that means for our challenge. I'm just saying I feel a little bit less crazy for ranting now.
Well,
I mean, it just. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Roman. You go.
Oh, now I feel bad.
No, don't. It's.
If you search, if you can go back to that screen and search, since those first experiences. So it's this paragraph. So it's like, and I don't know. This is kind of where my head's going with this challenge here.
There it is. Yep, there it is.
It's like, since those first experiences, I suppose I have had 1,000, 10,000 other evidences that what I have spoken today is true. And so, like, I think if you want something concrete, Cody, I think it's like looking at the hard evidence that you've seen in your life that this is true. And sometimes I think you could see it every day, but there's also like bigger experiences. There's so many things, right? And like Alma talks about how, the Earth, the revolving around the sun and all the planets and its alignments is proof
of the
that
truth.
God exists.
It's proof of that one.
Yeah. So it's like, I feel like something about like, gathering or writing down how we've
Yeah.
seen, the truth of the proof in our life, or
Proof of the truth.
yeah, exactly.
It's the President Eyring Journal.
So
Remember
okay.
how he talked about every day?
So then what you're saying,
He'd write down a sentence and he'd say something, how he saw God that day, just a sentence. He'd do the one thing a day, and that was it. And he's got a journal for his whole life, just a sentence a day. Like, that's kind of what you're saying, Roman.
so yeah, so that's like when you're talking about like the last, like the way that we could have made it concrete is writing it down
Well, yeah.
and recording the experiences that we had. Okay, so that's then
I
we
like
got
where
to
this
it.
is
We got
going.
to the concrete.
Every day, jot down a sentence, the evidence of God in our life. Maybe that's it for that day, That's what I think I shared this
Ooh.
recently on the podcast, but something my wife and I try to do every night is tell each other our testimony for the day, which is essentially, sometimes that's what we're grateful for, and sometimes it's how we saw God that day. We just tell it to each other.
Yeah.
So some kind of concrete action that doesn't just happen in your brain, in your head, that we can record or relay some kind of evidence of God for the day, That could be our challenge.
I'm a big fan of this challenge right here. Just as I like that we honed in on what Elder Holland's testimony at the very end is. I have 1,000 nor 10,000 evidences, and that this is our chance right now to gather our own 1,000 or 10,000 evidences of the proof of God, the truth of the proof of God, or the Book of Mormon, or the prophet Joseph Smith, or just just the Savior, our life in the Savior. I like it. I'm down with this,
dude.
Yeah, amen.
All right, so that's it. Write it down or say it to someone every day. Evidence of God in your life that day. All right.
Okay.
Well, fellas,
Are we gonna write truth of the proof
or proof of the truth? Because it goes both ways, dog.
Oh my gosh. Well, hold on. Hold on. Truth of the proof of the truth. I feel like this is a song.
Yeah,
We got it.
And you got the sunglasses
the truth
on.
is the truth of the proof, yo. What's going on?
There's
Everybody
actually
do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you after, actually. Anyway, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode. One of the ways that you can show evidence that you were here and you enjoyed the episode is by bringing that finger down and hitting the subscribe button. We would appreciate that. It'll spread the word. It'll get the podcast out more, build the community, get more people trying hard every day for Jesus, faith around to find out, all that kind of good stuff. So anyway, thank you, everyone. We appreciate you. We love you. Have a great week. Godspeed. I love it.
Try.